I'm Ben Baker, better known in the handmade music world as Gitty, and this video is going to show you how to assemble the Cigar Box Diddley Bow kit that we created. I created this kit specifically to make it as easy as possible for pretty much anybody to build their own stringed instrument. You know, here at CB Gitty we have a number of kits for building instruments, from cigar box guitars to ukuleles, amplifiers, even kalimbas and thumb pianos. But the Cigar Box Diddley Bow kit is kind of special because the diddley bow is one of the forerunners or the prototypes of all modern stringed instruments. Just a tight string of some sort stretched between a couple of posts on a stick, and it's what people thousands of years ago were using to make music and starting to develop indigenous styles. And it was a part of the development of blues music in America, 100 years ago or so in the Mississippi Delta, and it's still in use today by blues musicians and other musicians who like to bring back some of those roots of the blues and roots of popular music. So as you go through building this kit, I'd like you to relax, take it easy, watch the video, read through the printed guide, don't get too worked up about anything. Always remember, you're building a musical instrument made from a cigar box, a neck dowel or a broomstick for the neck, and a tight string. So there's nothing to get too worked up about with it. Just take it easy, have fun, enjoy yourself, and hopefully make some music with it.
This kit contains the following parts: a neck, a cigar box, 2 screws for attaching the box to the neck, a single guitar string, a tuning gear with 2 mounting screws, 2 brass string ferrule eyelets, a machine screw nut, and a threaded rod bridge. Here is the list of recommended tools for completing this kit. You can get by without having every single one of these, but having all of these on hand certainly makes it easier to complete the kit as shown in this video. We recommend using this video along with the printed how-to guide so that you can follow along with the instructions in both places. To start, choose which end of your neck will be the top or headstock. Next, use your ruler to mark off the following positions measuring from the top: 1 inch, 2.5 inches, 3 inches, 28 inches, and 30 inches. Now it's time to file down the headstock. The goal is to make it be about 5/8 of an inch thick, about 1 inch down from the top, where the tuner will be mounted. We recommend filing an even slope from the very top of the headstock to about 2.5 inches down. Use the mark you made there as a guide. You can use a power tool to speed this up, just be careful not to go too far. When finished, use some sandpaper to smooth off any rough edges. Now it's time to drill the tuner hole. Make a new mark 1 inch down from the top of the headstock and do your best to center it on the now flat surface. Use your scratch awl to make a starter hole, then use the 1/4 inch bit to drill all of the way through the neck. Do your best to keep this hole perpendicular to the back of the neck where the tuner plate will mount. Once drilled, dry fit the tuner. Be sure to keep the brass gear towards the long end of the neck, not the top of the headstock. The tuner is mounted up through the neck from the back so that the top of the shaft protrudes through the angled part of the headstock. If the hole in the end of the tuner is not clearly visible, file down your headstock some more. Now it's time to mount the tuner to the neck. With the tuner in position, with the brass gear towards the bottom of the neck, use your scratch awl to make starter holes in the neck wood through the mounting holes on the tuner's base plate. Then remove the tuner and use the 1/16 inch bit to drill pilot holes about 3/8 of an inch deep into the neck where the starter hole marks are. You can use a piece of masking tape on the drill bit as a depth guide to keep from going too deep. Once both holes are drilled, use the fine-tip Phillips screwdriver to put in the 2 small silver tuner mounting screws. Be careful with those screws and don't over-tighten them. A nice snug fit is fine for this step. When finished, your tuner should now be firmly mounted to the neck and you are ready to proceed to the next step. Now it's time to mount the nut, which the string will go up and over once the instrument is strung. Use your scratch awl to make a starter hole exactly in the center of the neck, in line with the tuner post, at the 3-inch position you marked earlier. Next, use the 1/8 inch drill bit to drill a hole about 3/8 of an inch deep into the neck at the 3-inch position. As with the last step, a piece of masking tape on the drill bit makes a handy depth gauge to keep from going too deep. Once drilled, clean up the hole opening and use a scratch awl to widen it a little bit. Then, screw in the machine screw nut until it sticks up about 3/8 of an inch or so from the neck surface. The slot on the screw should end up parallel to the neck. This is what the headstock of your diddly bow should look like at this point in the assembly process. Now it's time to drill holes for the neck into the cigar box. Start by finding the center of the cigar box. Usually the shorter edge of the box are used for this so that the instrument body ends up more horizontal, but you can go the other way if you want to. So measure your box width, divide by 2, and make a mark. Do this on both ends of the box. Next, measure the thickness of the box lid. Add about 3/4 of an inch to this measurement and make a mark this far down on both ends of the box, exactly at the center point you measured earlier. The goal is to have the neck go through the box about 1/4 of an inch under the inside edge of the box lid. Plus or minus 1/8 of an inch either way should be okay. Now use your scratch awl to make a starter hole at these points you marked on both ends of the cigar box, and then eyeball it to make sure it looks like it is in the center and that there is plenty of room for the neck dowel to clear the box lid. Remeasure and remark if you need to.
You're gonna need somebody on your bone.
When you feel that your hole marks are in the right place and you're ready to go, load the 1-inch Forstner or spade bit into your drill and proceed to drill a hole on each end of the cigar box. When you're doing this, do your best to keep these holes clean and neat, since you want a nice tight fit for your neck. Also, putting some painter's masking tape on the exterior of the box where you're going to drill can help to protect the finish. At this point, it's a good idea to do a dry fit of the neck to make sure everything looks good and seems to be in the right place. If things are a little bit off, don't get too worried. As long as the neck is able to go all of the way through the box, everything should work out fine. Since you already have the 1-inch bit still in the drill, this is a good time to drill a sound hole in the box lid. Sound holes aren't absolutely necessary, but they do tend to make an acoustic instrument like this louder, so we recommend adding one. While you can drill your sound hole pretty much anywhere, we recommend picking one of the corners of the box about 1 inch in from the edges. Avoid the center line of the box where the neck runs through, and make sure you're far enough away from the edge that you won't hit it when drilling. Now it's time to mount the box to the neck. To do this, insert the neck into the box so that about 2 inches of it extends out the bottom. The mark you made earlier at the 30-inch position should be flush with the bottom edge of the cigar box. Make sure the flat part of the headstock is aligned with the flat top of the box as much as possible. You want the tuner shaft and nut to be as close as possible to a 90-degree angle to the box top. Then, being careful to keep from twisting the neck, use the 1/16 inch drill bit to drill a hole on each end of the box, down through the lid and into the neck inside. Drill these holes about 3/4 of an inch in from the box edges. Finally, take the 2 neck attachment screws and screw them into place with the Phillips screwdriver. Be careful not to turn or twist the neck during this process, as this will make it tricky to get the screws lined up with the drilled pilot holes. Also, don't over-tighten these screws. Nice and snug will do. When finished, the box should be firmly attached to the neck and you are ready to proceed. The final step before stringing up your new diddley bow is to install the brass string ferrules into the base of the neck. These serve to keep the string from cutting into the neck wood once it is tightened up. Take your ruler and measure in about 1 inch from the end of the neck and make a mark in the exact center relative to the nut and tuner post. Now drill a hole all the way through the neck with the 1/8 inch drill bit. Drill as straight through as you can. Clean up the hole edges to remove any wood stragglers and then insert the brass string ferrule eyelets. If they seem too loose, use your side cutters to lightly crimp the shaft about halfway up. This will slightly widen them and cause them to fit more snugly into the hole. You are now ready to proceed to stringing up your instrument. Next, take the ruler and measure exactly 25 inches from the nut. Make a light mark on the box lid at this point. This is where the bridge will be placed. To string your diddley bow, thread the guitar string up through the 2 brass eyelets and then pull it all the way through so that the small brass string nut is tight against the bottom eyelet. Now, run the string up the neck and putting a little bit of tension on it, wrap it around the tuner post clockwise 2 or 3 times. Once wrapped, thread the end of the string through the hole in the tuner shaft and pull it taut. Give the tuner 10 or so cranks to take out the slack in the string, but don't wind it too tight at this point. The string should run through the slot of the nut screw at this point. Now take the threaded rod bridge and gently lifting up on the string, center the bridge under the string and slide it up into position at the 25-inch mark you measured on the box lid. Once in position, the string should rest easily in one of the threads, roughly in the center of the bridge. You can also now trim off the excess string with your side cutters. Just be careful so that you don't accidentally cut the main part of the string. This next step is optional, but we do recommend it to make your diddley bow easier to play. It involves marking the fret positions onto your neck as an approximation of where the frets would be on a standard guitar. Having these positions marked makes it easier to find the notes you'll want to play to create melodies and recognizable songs on your diddley bow. For the list of measurements, refer to the printed instructions that came with your kit. If you don't have the printed guide, you can find a copy online through the CB Gitty website. The site address is shown on the screen. Just browse there and click on the link for the kit guide PDF and scroll to the appropriate page. Don't worry too awful much about getting these measurements 100% exact, because when playing with a one-string instrument with a slide, the fret positions are meant to be a general guide at best. We recommend starting with a pencil when making these marks, and then once you've double-checked them, go back over them with something more permanent like a Sharpie marker. Finally, it can be a big help to mark off the special or magic frets on the neck. You can use a small dot or X to do this. The special frets are the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 12th frets. These are the ones you'll use the most when making music on your diddley bow. Congratulations, you have finished your diddley bow. Now it's time to get busy playing some music on it. The printed kit guide has some pointers to get you started playing, and you can also browse over to the CB Gitty webpage for this kit, we gave you the address earlier, for some more resources and help getting started playing, including some great lessons from Shane Spiel. We hope you get a lot of great use and enjoyment out of your new diddly bow, and that this is the start of a great instrument building and playing career for you. Happy picking!
You're gonna need somebody on your. Now wait till midnight. It's coming, you're gonna need